六
我来不知人间苦乐，回首已是苦中人。
啥鸡巴个这？
有不得之口，金子光。那窗台，因为爱。It's the time you and me bleed the same light. I want you to know that I'm all yours. You and me are on the same course. I'm slipping chain reaction. Here I go, here I go, here I go, go. And once again, reaction. It takes me down, pulls me down low. I need it, sweet and soon. But so always at the end. Tell me you're covered tonight. But tell me what you and me did the same. I want you to know this thing hurts. I want you to know it's so did you know, no, that's anybody else that's not yet. It's all the same, all the same, all the same, girl. I need experience you. It's your toys and I tell me that you're the time. Or tell me that it's not what you
哼， 作业什么作业？没有作业。什么作业，兄弟？买，花钱买，兄弟。8块钱，8块钱一场比赛。我靠，1万张！牛逼啊，兄弟！吃点香蕉吧。今天9个，对，今天9个。今天都淘汰赛，这欧罗巴都是淘汰赛，今天都是第2回合，然后2个西甲吧。淘汰赛比赛一般来说还是比较都会拼命去踢的，知道吧？相当于欧协联的比赛是淘汰赛。啊。我先吃香蕉，一会儿给你发，兄弟。我下午很忙，下午，我靠，下午非常忙，一直忙到现在，还没忙完呢。 这可吧，他叫便宜，我让贪便宜，我靠！明白没啊？啊，说，昨天韩黑太神奇了。我喝牛奶。我这牛奶比较便宜啊，胖东来的牛奶啊。昨天呢，韩 K 第一场比赛，最后8分钟进了2个球。然后韩 K 第二场比赛是一个红牌被罚下就进球了。昨天呢，韩 K 第二场比赛，我靠，最后都快打完了，他这个红牌刚下去，人家一个任意球直接杀进去了，知道吧？知道吧？昨天韩 K 他变化太多了，还补时补了8分钟。所以以后你们看选择去选择吧，就是所以说有的人要韩 K， 所以要相信自己选择。人生人。我昨天都不占人便宜，我现在给你发。主要今天发了好多个了，发的太多。我靠，那8月27，啊，你这发还有5个没发呢，我还有5个人呢。第3，哎呀，发呀 你们要看完内容啊，不要光看结果。我靠，你们不要光看结果，不是光看最终的结果，你们要过程都看看，知道吧？你把都看过程，能帮助你们提高判断，知道吧？我要提着提，我以后都聊备注。有我都能备注。知道吧？这吧，对吧？你们要既然做选择，就要认真做选择，知道吧？对吧？既然做选择，就要认真去做选择。就是那可以帮你们避坑的，知道吧？你们不要光看，我看到结尾就会选择去了，知道吧？你们要记住啊！我靠，对不对？你做任何事情，是不是都要去啊？那你给我推荐你再给我推荐点人，你给我推荐点人，你给我推荐人。不是他有的人，你不知道，我有时候他们跟我聊天，我还在指导他们，可以帮我推荐给他们吗？是吧？这一定要看完内容，我靠，真的不要光看结果，就是你们要对着自己的分析，对得起自己啊。真的一定要看完啊！不要，就是有的人他老是光看结果，看我，就是有的解说他就让你看到结尾，知道吧？但是我跟他们不一样，知道兄弟们，知道吧兄弟们？你像你们在其他地方看的，他们说啊，你们就看结尾就行了，前面的不用看。我靠，那我那是刚好，我那是过程重要，结果也重要，你们别搞错了，知道吧？真的，你又把你的选择当成，就是你就是把你的选择当成你自己做一件事情，去客观去认真去对待啊，知道吧？就知道吧？就是我从来，是不是我可以胡编乱造一些过程也可以，但是其实过程更有利于你们判断的，真的过程更有利于你们判断的。那大部分他们推荐方案都是啊，只听结果，真的只听结果，这有我特点之处是吧？真的，反正我这样理解的。对，虽然我的方案也不贵吧，一个8块钱是吧？反正我觉得这样吧，你们要会去投资，做任何事情都是这样的。你不管你是为了玩、尝试，还什么原因都好，你都得为自己的任何的一个选择做一些负责嘛，是吧？ 这啥歌啊？
时光匆匆如水流，不曾为谁而停留。灯火阑珊再回首，谁会把我来等候？斟满一杯岁月酒，敬给往昔和以后。告别昨日苦与愁，世俗凡尘被看透。万丈红尘一杯酒，
一个月工资给我2000多，差不多吧，7361783000差不多吧。
我又何必常常挂心头？万丈红尘一杯酒，杯杯用来解忧愁。一生不过短短几个秋，所有风景装进我眼眸。斟满一杯岁月酒，敬给往昔和以后。告别昨日苦与愁，世俗凡尘被看透。万丈红尘一杯酒，杯杯用来敬自由。人活一世待多烦何忧？我又何必常常挂心头？万丈红尘。
哎呀，还有一个，还要发这个呢。唉。奥特 look， 感觉都用 Q 一样用的多，都是 Q 一样多。哎，好像过两天有美职联比赛了。我做很多事都是随缘的，知道吧？就像水一样啊，一切不强求，一切啊顺其自然。就是万物皆有自己的道。知道万物都有自己的道，每个人有自己的道。我看，这就是我靠。大风吹到那棵梧桐树，没钱难买通天路，在我最难的时候没能把你留住，在我熬过那些愁与苦，谁能我说也就是我有这种闲工夫，就是我就是也只有我能这样去干，就很多事情。你看很多人就不愿这么干，你看有的人是不是？9986-663陆科，我给你们找个视频看。其实我有很多视频呢，有没有？巴菲特的投资，巴菲特的演讲，给大家以后给大家放。以后给大家放点东西听了。
This is my 60th annual meeting.
给你们放放巴菲特的演讲，但它也太长了，知道吧？哎呀，芒格，芒格，巴菲特，真的，你们如果是我这个就去看芒格的，这个这个应该可以啊，这个可以看，是吧？以后给你们放点东西，放点有用的东西啊。
And it's the biggest, and I think it'll be the best.
哎，我咋个可咋个弄过来呢？
I would, before I start, I'd like to give you a few figures from yesterday because we set all kinds of records. Yesterday we had 19,700 people that joined us in the afternoon between noon and 5 o'clock, and that was up from 16,200, which was a previous record the year before. And in every aspect, we set records.
就这样，我把我的怼过来，我呢，
$317,000 against
我得小点儿，
$230,000 the year before.
我得小点儿。
These were limited by capacity. I mean, there were lines there throughout the total day. Brooks did 310,000. It was an all-time record sales day for them, and I think they have close to 3,000 runners lined up for Sunday, which is a lot of people to get up. I think we've had 2,200.
你们看吧，我给大家，我给人发东西啊。
And that doesn't count me, and it won't count me. And I could go up and down the line. Jazz wears around 250,000, double the previous years. They just sell as fast as they can sell. Most every place had people lined up at the cash register. Sometimes for a lot longer wait than wish we had, but we'll learn the game eventually. And it goes on and on. Every company set records, and there's no way of knowing how many people we have here today. We have people listening in around the world, but I think we'll probably set records in a great variety of ways, and we're going to have, in a minute we'll get to the question and answer, but I'd like to first introduce our directors, and I'm Warren Buffett, and I was born and bred right here in Omaha. We have Greg Abel. He was born and bred in Canada. And we have Ajit Jain, who was born and bred in India. So we have a very diverse group. And in the audience
and I will introduce them alphabetically, and if they'll stand as I introduce them. And I know it'll be an effort, but withhold your applause till the end so that we can get through the list. But we'll start alphabetically with Howard Buffett. Howie, would you stand? And withhold the applause. It'll go to his head. Susan Buffett. We have Steve Burke, Ken Chenault, Chris Davis, Sue Decker, Sue's our lead director, Charlotte Guyman, Tom Murphy Jr., Ron Olson, and I'll have a few, and when we finish, I'll have a few more things to add about him, Wally Weitz, and Merrill Whitmer. And with that, you've got our all-star cast. Yeah. And Ron, if you don't mind standing, I would like to point out that Ron, they finally got through an age director thing at Berkshire. I think we had 5 that were over 90 here not so long ago, but we put in the highest. Or Sue tells me anyway that it's the highest age limit that any of the companies she checked out came up with. But Ron has been on the board for 28 years and been associated with Charlie Munger at Munger Tolls for many years beyond that, and has been around at a variety of times of crisis and joy and disappointments and surprises and everything else at Berkshire, and has been of invaluable help to us. So I think I'd like to give a special hand to Ron Olson. And I think I'll do something else that isn't done usually at annual meetings, but I haven't had a chance. I listened to him on Thursday afternoon. It's the only investment quarterly call that I listen to, but I listened to Tim Cook, and I understand, and it'll be tough for me to see him from up here, but Tim Cook, there he is.
这是苹果 CEO 嘛，蒂姆·库克。
I'm somewhat embarrassed to say that Tim Cook has made Berkshire a lot more money than I've ever made Berkshire Hathaway. So credit should be given to him for. I knew Steve Jobs briefly, and Steve, of course, did things that nobody else could have done in developing Apple, but Steve picked out Tim to succeed him, and he really made the right decision. Steve died young, as you know, and nobody but Steve could have created Apple, but nobody could. But Tim could have developed it like it has. So on behalf of all of Berkshire, thank you.
没问题吧这个？我靠！
There's a couple other people I'd like to thank. I don't do any work in terms of the show or anything else around Berkshire, but what you see today is the product of a lot of people at Berkshire. They forget, they don't think of themselves as the one who's supposed to screw a light in and leave for somebody else, a specialist to come along and do other things. The people of Berkshire put on this show every year, and our chief financial officer and just everybody pitches in. It's a remarkable organization that way, but it's led this year in the last few years by Melissa Shapiro, and she's made this whole thing work. Melissa. And then we got an idea a while back, well, many years ago. Well, I'll take it all the way back. Maybe 65 years ago, I met Carrie Sova's grandfather and his wife. Well, they had 9 children, and Susie and I joined a playhouse group. And I don't look like the kind of guy that would join a playhouse group, but it turned out to be a great move in many ways. First of all, I enjoyed the plays, but beyond that, I met not only Carrie's grandfather, who ran an insurance company in Omaha, Bill Kaiser, but I also met the Pumpkin Boys' parents, Louis and Francis. So in one sort of accident, when I was in my 20s, came up with all kinds of good things. And in connection with Carrie, her father ran a company called Central States. And later on, we bought that company. And then her father ran the company. Her sister went to work for Berkshire some years ago, and then she decided to have a family and subsequently had 4 kids, so she left. But Carrie moved right in, and Carrie had amazing talent behind, just like a good many people do. They have talent you don't realize till you give them some responsibility. And so 10 or 11 years ago, I asked Carrie to do a 50th anniversary book about Berkshire and just use her imagination. And she didn't need to check with me or do anything. She never edited a book. She'd never published a book. She'd never dealt with the printers before, but she just went out and promptly put together this 50th anniversary book. And then this year, then Carrie, of course, got married and had 3 kids, so she had to leave us. But we go to a baseball game once a year, and we invite some of our distinguished alumni like Carrie to join us. And Carrie, even though she was raising 3 children, and you may have met 1 or 2 of them in the last day or so, she volunteered to bring together a 60th anniversary book, and which I asked for. And again, she took the whole thing. She just did it. She kept doing the things with her kids, and every now and then I'd ask her how it was going, and she'd tell me how it was going. And so she put together the 60th anniversary book, and got it done by, maybe a week before the meeting, because I gave her the assignment very late. And yesterday we sold, I think it was 4,000 plus, 4,000 to 4,500 maybe. 4,400. We printed 8,000. We intended to print 5,000, but so we sold 4,400 books yesterday, and we'll have roughly 3,600 left out there today, and it's kind of a whimsical but accurate, and she came out with just the book.
08009
And then as we went through
好，一会儿给你发，兄弟。
this publishing experience,
不是先碳水啊。
Carrie wouldn't take a dime,
啊，
but
216，
favored charity
216在不在直播间？
and the
啊，在直播间。
center, which takes care of homeless people and does a great many other things. It's located about 5 or
我给
6
这个弄
miles from，
我给这个发完给你发，
south.
这个课我发完给你发，兄弟
Did。a wonderful job. Her grandfather helped.
记着过程都看看。
Her husband's now joined the board, and we are selling 20 copies of. This is a commercial place, isn't it? We are selling 20 copies that we sold 10 prior to the meeting. That's all we let them sell, and we raised a few $100,000 doing that. I think we sold one for $100,000, and but we limited that to 10. And the only difference in these and the $25 version is that Carrie and I signed them, but we saved 6 for yesterday, and the 6 brought $148,000, which is a pretty good average per book of about $20,000. And then I had them save 4 more. So this afternoon when we disband at 1 o'clock, the area right behind us that has all the goods in it, in the bookstore, they will sell the final 4. And when we get all through, I'll match whatever we've raised for the 20, and we'll give the Stevens Center a boost, both in financially but also in awareness. So anyway, that. And when you look at that book, Carrie really did the whole thing. I mean, there's a lot of information in there, and she dug through it, and she came through a couple times maybe to check a fact or two. But she got material from the Munger family. She just did a wonderful job, and I couldn't get her to take a penny for it. So I'm going to ask her to do a lot of other things in the future. Okay. With that, I think we've covered all the business. So we will move to Becky's questions that she's received from, I don't know how many she's received, but from all over the country and perhaps outside the country. And she's picked out a group of them, which she has not shared with me. And we will alternate questions between Becky and the audience, which we have by zones. And with that, I will turn things over to Becky for the first question.
Thanks, Warren. This first question comes from Bill Mitchell. I received more questions about this than any other question. He writes, Warren, in a 2003 Fortune article, you argued for import certificates to limit trade deficits and said these import certificates basically amounted to a tariff. But recently, you called tariffs an act of economic war. Has your view on trade barriers changed, or do you see import certificates as somehow distinct from tariffs?
Yeah, well, the import certificates were distinct, but their goal was to balance imports against exports, and so that the trade deficit would not grow in an enormous way. In fact, it would have, and it had various other provisions in it to help third world countries at that time, as they were called, to perhaps catch up a little bit. And they had a variety of aspects to them, but basically they were designed to balance trade. And I think you can make some very good arguments for the fact that balanced trade is good for the world, and the more balanced trade there is, the better. It will continue to be better for cocoa to be raised in Ghana and coffee in Colombia and a few things, and over time, the
操，不是吧？
American industry has gone from being an agricultural country. This was nothing but an ag country. I mean, virtually, and that was only 250 years ago. And we have become a very industrial country, and we did not want to make that a situation, in my view, where we ran greater and greater deficits, building up greater and greater debts against the country. So I designed this import certificate thing, which Charlie thought was a little Rube, too much like Rube Goldberg. I don't know what that time name is, but it's gimmicky. But it's certainly a lot better than anything I think than we're talking about now. And there's no question that trade can be an act of war, and I think it's led to bad things. Just the attitudes it's brought out in the United States. I mean, we should be looking to trade with the rest of the world, and we should do what we do best, and they should do what they do best. And I don't think it. That's what we did originally. I mean, we were good at producing tobacco and cotton 250 years ago, and we traded it. And we want a prosperous world with 8 countries with nuclear weapons, including a few that are what I would call quite unstable. I do not think it's a great idea to try and design a world where a few countries say, ha, 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 we've won, and other countries are envious. So my import certificate idea, which went no place, I think we've got extra copies, Rob. We've not a great demand for the copies. If anybody did, and if you'd like it, write the office. I think we could probably send you a copy of it. But the main thing to do is not use trade should not be a weapon. And the United States, we've won. I mean, we have become an incredibly important country, starting from nothing. 250 years ago, there's nothing been anything like it. And it's a big mistake, in my view, when you have 7.5 billion people that don't like you very well, and you got 300 million that are crowing in some way about how well they've done. And I don't think it's right, and I don't think it's wise. I do think that the more prosperous the rest of the world becomes, it won't be at our expense. The more prosperous we'll become, and the safer we'll feel, and your children will feel someday. So that's. But don't expect my import certificate idea to go down there with Adam Smith's wealth of nations or anything. Okay, let's go to Area 1.
Mr. Buffett, Mr. Jack,
你看人家巴菲特演讲还要用手写东西，看到没，兄弟们？
ST Zhang,
人家都不用手机记录，人家还用笔
did a very
用笔记着。
successful investment in Japan in the past 5 or 6 years. The recent CPI in Japan is currently above 3%, not far away from its 2% target. Bank of Japan seems very determined in raising rates, while Fed, ECB, and other central banks are considering to cut them. Do you think BOJ, Bank of Japan, makes sense to proceed the rate hike? Will its planned rate hike deter you from further investing Japanese stock market or even considering to realize your current profits? Thank you very much for arranging this greatest event every year. Finally, I wish you healthy always and keep holding this shareholder meeting.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to extend the same goodwill to Japan that you've just extended to me. I'll let the people of Japan determine their best course of action in terms of economics. It's an incredible story. It's been about 6 years now, as you pointed out. I was just going through a little handbook that probably had 2,000 or 3,000 Japanese companies in it. One problem I have is that I can't read that handbook anymore. The print's too small. But and here were these 5 trading companies. They have a special name for them in Japan, but they were selling at ridiculously low prices. And so I spent about a year acquiring them, and then we got to know the people better, and everything that Greg and I saw we liked better as we went along. So we got fairly close to the 10% limit that we told the company we would never exceed without their permission. And so we did ask them recently whether that limit could be relaxed, and it's in the process of being relaxed somewhat. I would say that I'll speak for Greg beyond me, that in the next 50 years, and I hope he's running things then, we won't give a thought to selling those. I mean, Japan's record has been extraordinary, actually, in terms of that. My guess is that Tim Cook would tell you that iPhone sales there are about as great as any country outside the United States. American Express would tell you that they sell their product very, very well in Japan. Coca-Cola, that we do business with, another big investment of ours, they do extraordinarily well in Japan. They have a number of habits in a civilization that operates differently than ours. Japan is by far the biggest. This is the container they've always preferred for soft drinks, and they have a whole different sort of distribution system there. But we have been treated extremely well by the 5 companies. They talked with Greg primarily. I went over there a year or 2 ago. But Greg's more cosmopolitan than I am, so he's which isn't saying much, actually. But
very little.
But he is. I don't know. How many times do you think you've met with representatives of one company to the other?
Yeah, when you think of the 5, there's definitely a couple meetings a year, Warren, and I think the thing we're building with the five companies is, one, it's been a very good investment, but we are really, as Warren touched on, we envision holding the investment for 50 years or forever. But I think we also are building relationships to do incremental things with each of those companies. And we really do hope to do big things with them globally. They bring different perspectives and different opportunities, and we see, and that's why we're building that long-term relationship with them.
It's super long-term, and they have a bunch. They have different customs. They have different approaches to business. That's true around the world, and we don't have any intention in any way trying to change what they've done because they do it very successfully, and our main activity is just to cheer and clap, and that I can still do at 94. So we will own those. You know, we will not be selling any stock. I mean, that will not happen in decades, if then. And my guess is that they will find things because they cover the world pretty much. The 5 trading companies, we will find things occasionally that may be very large for any individual company there. They may in some way be assisted by some help we bring to the situation. But that will be an expanding relationship. It's too bad that Berkshire has gotten as big as it is because we love that position, and I'd like it to be a lot larger than it is. But even with the 5 companies they're very large companies, and they're large companies in Japan. And we've got at market that you know, in the range of $20 billion invested, but I'd rather have $100 billion than $20 billion, and that's the way I feel about it. Several other investments we have, but size is an enemy of performance at Berkshire, and I don't know any good way to solve that problem, but Charlie always told me that having a few problems was good for me. I never quite understood that, but if you listened to him moralize, you would understand. And it's not an impossible problem at all. And the Japan investment has just been right up our alley. You want to add anything on that, Kurt?
No, I think you've touched it, but as you said, it's right up our alley, and I absolutely agree, Warren. I do believe we'll see some very large opportunities long term, sure. and that's just been a great plus of that relationship.
Yeah, I would say they would like to present us with opportunities. We would like to receive them. We've got the money. We both get along very well with each other, and they have some different customs than we have. They drink the #1 Coca-Cola product. They drink over there something called Georgia coffee. I haven't converted them to Cherry Coke, and they're not going to convert me to Western Georgia coffee. But it's a perfect relationship. I just wish we could get more like it. And I never dreamt of that when I picked up that little. It wasn't so little, it was about that thick, but sometimes 2 companies to a page, and a couple thousand pages, I believe. But it's amazing what you can find when you just turn the page. We showed a movie last year that about turn every page. And I would say that turning every page is one important ingredient to bring to the investment field. And very few people do turn every page, and the ones who turn every page aren't going to tell you what they're finding. So you got to do a little of it yourself. Okay. Becky?
This next question comes from Advait Prasad in New York. He writes, today, Berkshire holds over $300 billion in cash and short-term investments, representing about 27% of total assets, a historically high figure compared to the 13% average over the last 25 years. This has also led Berkshire to effectively own nearly 5% of the entire U.S. Treasury market. Beyond the need for liquidity to meet insurance obligations, is the decision to raise cash primarily a de-risking strategy in response to high market valuations, or is it also a deliberate effort to position Berkshire's balance sheet for a smoother leadership transition, providing Greg Abel with maximum flexibility and a clean slate for future capital allocation decisions? And I will add one line from another shareholder, Mike Conway, who asks, are you encouraged you may see some fat pitches coming your way?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't do anything nearly so noble as to withhold investing myself just so that Greg could look good later on. Now, if he gets any edge when I leave, I'll resent it. So the amount of cash we have is we would spend. We came pretty close to spending $10 billion not that long ago, for example. But we'd spend $100 billion. I mean, and those decisions are not tough to make. When something is offered that makes sense to us and that we understand and offers good value and where we don't worry about losing. And the one problem with the investment business is that things don't come along in an orderly fashion, and they never will. I mean, it isn't like every day. The long-term record is sensational, but that is not a product. And I've had 200 trading days times 80 years. It's 16 million trading days. It'd be kind of, 16,000 trading days. It would be nice if every day you got 4 opportunities or something like that, and and they were expected to be equally attractive. If I was running a numbers racket, every day would have the same expectancy of that I would keep 40% of whatever the handle was, and so the only question would be is how much we transacted. But we're not running that kind of a business, and so we're running a business which is very, very, very opportunistic. And Charlie always thought I did too many things. He thought if we did about 5 things in our lifetime, we'd end up doing better than if we did 50, and that we never concentrated enough. So that we would rather have, if we've got $335 billion now in treasuries, we would rather have conditions that have developed where we would have like $50 billion or something like that. But that just isn't the way the business works. And we have made a lot of money by not wanting to be fully invested at all times. And we don't think it's improper, actually, for people who are passive investors just to make a few simple investments and sit for their life. But we've made the decision to be in the business, so we think we can do a little better than that by behaving in a very irregular manner. But if you told me that I had to invest, let's say that we have roughly $40 billion a year coming in, and we start with 335. If you told me I had to invest $50 billion every year till we got down to $50 billion, that would be the dumbest thing in the world to invest in that manner, things get extraordinarily attractive very occasionally. The long-term trend is up. Nobody knows. And I certainly don't know. Greg doesn't know. Ajit doesn't know. Nobody knows what the market is going to do tomorrow, next week, next month. And nobody knows what business is going to do tomorrow, next week, or next month. But they spend all their time talking about it because it's easy to talk about. And but it has no value. I've never found anybody I want to listen to on the subject. And on the other hand, I've found that leafing through things like that big Japanese book that I can't read anymore, that's a treasure hunt. And every now and then you find something. And
欢迎，偏偏喜欢你，欢迎啊！
very occasionally, but it'll happen again. I don't know when. It could be next week. It could be 5 years off, but it won't be 50 years off. We will be bombarded with offerings that we'll be glad we have the cash for. And it'd be a lot more fun if it would happen tomorrow, but it's very unlikely to happen tomorrow. Very, very unlikely to happen tomorrow. But it's not unlikely to happen in 5 years. And then the probabilities get higher as you go along. It's kind of like death. I mean, if you're 10 years old, the chances that you're going to die the next day are low. If you get to be 115 or something like that, it's almost a cinch. Particularly if you're a male. I mean, all the records are held by females in terms of age. And I tried to get Charlie to have a sex change so he could test out whether... he did pretty well for being a male, I'll put it that way. Okay. Station 2.
Good morning, Warren, Greg, and Ajit. My name is Jackie Han. I'm from China and now work in Toronto, Canada. This is my 8th Berkshire Hathaway meetings at this point. I've probably spent more time with you than most people spend on Netflix. As you might guess, coming from a Chinese family, we've always had a soft spot for real estate. So the real question isn't why don't you own a house? It's why are you still buying stocks instead of more property? So here is my question. With today's high interest rates and global uncertainty, do you still believe in being greedy when others are fearful, or the value investing facing new challenges in today's environment? Thank you.
Yeah. Well, in respect to real estate, it's so much harder than stocks in terms of negotiation of deals, time spent, the involvement of multiple parties in the ownership. Usually when real estate gets in trouble, you find out you're dealing with more than the equity holder. But there have been times when large amounts of real estate have changed hands at bargain prices, but usually stocks were cheaper, but they were a lot easier to do. So Charlie did more real estate. Charlie enjoyed real estate transactions, and he actually did a fair number of them in the last 5 years of his life. But he was playing a game that it was an interesting game to him. But I think if you'd asked him to make a choice when he was 21, he had to either be in stocks exclusively the rest of his life or real estate the rest of his life. He would have chosen stocks in a second. There's just so much more opportunity, at least in the United States. There's so much more opportunity that presents itself in the security market than it does in real estate. And in real estate, you're usually dealing with a single owner or a family that owns maybe a large property they've had a long time. Maybe they've borrowed too much money against it. Maybe the population trends are against them. But But to them, it's an enormous decision. When you walk down to the New York Stock Exchange, you can do billions of dollars worth of business totally anonymous, and you can do it in 5 minutes. And the trades are complete when they're complete. In real estate, when you make a deal, a big deal with a distressed lender, when you sign the deal, then you go into another phase. I mean, then people start negotiating more things, and it's a whole different game, and a different type of person, to some extent, enjoys the game. We did a few real estate deals that came our way in 2008 and 9, but the amount of time that they would take us compared to doing something intelligent and probably better in securities, there was just no comparison. I mean, in a real estate deal, every sentence is as important as a person, and in stocks, if somebody needs to sell 20,000 shares of Berkshire or something, and they call us and the price is right, it's done in 5 seconds, and it closes all the time. People who you certainly wouldn't want to have marry your daughter, or they behave well, actually, in stocks. Partly that's because they're probably having their wires or phones or whatever it is recorded as to what they've said and everything. but the completion rate for working on anything in stocks is, assuming you've got a meeting of the minds on prices, essentially 100%. In real estate, it just begins when you agree on deals, and then they take forever. So for a guy 94, it's not the most interesting thing to get involved in something where the negotiations could take years. And we have the capability. There have been some huge failures in fact, if you go all the way back to Zeckendorf in the 1960s, he was going to change the world, and Century City out in California is a product of his. And if you go to Eurus, if you go to... he was sitting on top of the world with the Eurus buildings. And so people tend to get in trouble in that business. The banks usually don't want to recognize it, but that takes a long time to go through the bank processes. They just got through redoing the Musk loan that he did when he was buying it 3 years ago, the company that's now X. And, 3 years to work out a transaction where you've got parties on both sides that aren't ready to act. That we find it much better when people are just ready to pick up the phone, and you can do hundreds of millions of dollars worth of business in a day. I've been spoiled, but I like being spoiled, so we'll keep it that way. Okay, Becky.
This question comes from Sam England in San Francisco, and it's for Warren and Ajit. As AI systems become more capable and harder to
下播了，
interpret,
今天就这样吧，今天就下播了啊，到点了，5点钟了， 拜拜。
and transfer risk. Are there parallels to past disruptions Berkshire has navigated in underwriting or capital allocation?
Okay, Becky, and Ajit's got about 100 points of IQ on me, and he's just going to be here this morning.